Yeah, it's been 2 weeks, 2 weeks, maybe even more, since I live broadcast from, I think it might even be 3 weeks since I did a live broadcast from the workshop, because 2 weeks ago, I was broadcasting live from Ghostbusters Day. I did 2 live streams, 3 I think even live streams on Ghostbusters Day. But here I am, finally, live in the workshop again. And I'm excited. I'm ready to talk about this build that I completed and everything else that's been going on. And I'm excited to chat with you guys and have a conversation. Hey, Gavin, how you doing? Good to see you here. Let me grab my iPad so I can see questions and answer them. And talk to you folks. But it's good to be back on the live, and this is where I'm going to find that of course, yes, my iPad is out of battery, so that's always fun. I'm going to have to go and get an extension cable for that in a second. But yeah, welcome. It's good to see you here, and we're going to do a few things today. We're going to talk about this that you can see behind me. Let me just turn the camera a little bit. We're going to talk about this finished pack, and we're going to talk about whatever else you really want to talk about. So yeah, Sadistic Minds, hello. Cameron's Ectoverse, hello. Good to have you guys here. How are you all doing? And Cameron, thanks for said earlier, thanks for letting me be on the live stream. You're welcome. It was cool meeting you. I've literally had such a hectic time since Ghostbusters Day. You've probably seen I threw out a couple of videos there. One meeting with AC, another about the HasLab pack, the HasLab trap and PKE meter. And other than that, I've been crazy busy. I'm trying to finish my Ghostbusters Day edit. But yeah, it's been chaotic, but it's fun. It was so fun to meet people at Ghostbusters Day. Let's see, Fabian, hello, welcome to the chat. Cameron's saying, creating a new series on my YouTube channel this summer. That's awesome. That's awesome, Cameron. Justin, did I order the HasLab? Justin is asking me. You know what? I didn't order the HasLab, but I will have access to one. I'll just put it that way. I'll put it that way for you. And we can talk about it when it comes out, when we get it. But hopefully you saw my video. I mean, that was pretty good hands-on with what was going on there. If you haven't had a chance to see it, that video is on my channel, and you can check it out. You can check out how that trap's looking. You can check out how that PKE meter is looking. They're looking pretty good, in my opinion. I think there are a few criticisms of the way it looks, and I guess you just have to remember that it's trying to play this balance between a prop and a toy, and those two things are very different things. And so trying to find that balance is a really tough ask, I think, for Hasbro. And I think with all of the constraints they have on them, they've done an incredible job. An incredible job. I think it's going to be super awesome. But yeah, if you have questions, pop them in chat, and we can get on to talking about this. So I've been building this for a long time, as you know, over weeks and weeks, and this behind me is the finished article. This is the pack. This is the finished pack. Gavin's saying that they're thinking of building an RTV or remote trap vehicle from Afterlife. That's cool. Yeah, I would like to do that at some point. And obviously I've got a little opportunity to chat with Ben Eady, who had hands on that. So I'm hoping that that's something that I might think about doing. I even this week went and had a look at remote control vehicles I could buy with the right size wheels to put a trap on them. Hi Frank, welcome to the chat. It's not a prop from the movie, but it is a replica of a prop from the movie. Yeah, we can take a closer look at it in a second if you want. Justin's asking if this cyclotron is removable. No, this cyclotron isn't. If I build another pack, I might make a removable cyclotron. But what I was going for here was, I was going for the look of the packs that the OGs wore in Afterlife. So I don't mean the Spengler pack, which had the changes and additions, but this is more based on the 84 packs that had been sat wherever they'd been sat before the three of them turned up to help Phoebe and family defeat Gozer in the end. Yeah, so this is it. And the interesting thing is now, this is a heavy beast now compared to before. I've been hauling around the Spirit Pack with me in the past, and this is much more heavy than the Spirit Pack, which is basically like a feather if you try and lift that thing. This thing is much heavier. Let's see what Cameron's saying. He's saying, about his series called the Ectoverse. It's where kids try and find their friend that went missing and is transported to different dimensions through the multiverse. Nice. And they go through an adventure to find them. Sounds a great idea. Cameron always has really awesome ideas. It was fun. I had a chance to see some of Cameron's sketches and drawings that he's using for planning his stories and ideas. They were really good. Thanks for sharing those with me, Cameron, when we met on Ghostbusters Day. Gavin's asking, maybe you should have a stream with Ben and talk about Remote Trap. We should do that. We could do. Ben and I have talked about doing a live stream before. Hopefully you saw I did have a conversation with Ben about his experience with the RTV, and that is on my channel. It's about a 25-minute interview. We talked for a lot longer, but that particular interview was about his experience working on Ghostbusters and what it was like, and some very cool stories he had around the RTV. So yeah, that was, but yeah, maybe we should do that. Right, Justin's asking if you can see the wand. Here is the wand. So this is, and you can see it here, but let me know if there's anything particular you'd like to see, Justin, about the wand. But this is the 84 Hasbro wand that they bought out, that I've done I've done quite a lot of, I say quite a lot of modding. That's probably an exaggeration, but I've done a lot of I've done a lot of weathering on it, and kind of pushing it into the way that I want it to look. So you notice a few things. There's tape around the handles here that I added. This was one of the other things. So on here, if you get this out of the pack, fresh and new, one of the things that I found frustrating about it, that's an over-exaggeration. One of the things about it that I didn't like was that this nut here around this red button, the whole thing actually looks like it's one red piece. And so I actually went in and I highlighted this edge to bring out that, so hopefully you can see that nut. So that's those were the kind of things that I did. Aging this piece, putting a lot of aging on here, and most of the aging that you see on here is acrylic paint. I used some chrome paint on the end here, because again, you may well be aware, if you've purchased yourself one of these wands, that the end here on the 84 wand is this bright orange, for lots of good reasons, right? We don't want people thinking that you have a real weapon. This doesn't really look like a real weapon. But anyway, that's why the end is orange. And so this has been painted with like a chrome paint. Let's see, Justin, how did I age the barrel? So yeah, I did this with chrome paint, and I stippled it. One of the things, I feel like I'm saying all the things I dislike. I really like this, but one of the things I dislike about the 84 wand is this coloration. Obviously the ones in the movie are transparent, but this one isn't. It has this kind of colored sense to it because, let me just boot this up. As you know, when you press intensify, it has these very cool lighting effects, and they're dispersed, the lighting, there's a bunch of LEDs in here, and that's dispersed by this off-white covering that goes in here. And what that does is that allows the LEDs to not be seen, but the light to pass through and to create those effects there. So I think weathering it personally makes it look a lot better than it did before. Sorry, getting behind with the questions. Let's see. So Justin, that was about the barrel. Danny, have you thought about making an Archimedes dial? a huge slime blower, and I wasn't able to get over there. I would have loved to have looked at it if I'd had a chance, because as you know on this channel, I kind of like props, and so if I get a chance to get my hands on one, I'm going to do that, and I'm going to play with it. Oh, saying that the audio's corrupted. Oh dear. Well, let's see what the problem is. Is that better? Let me know in chat if you can hear me properly. Fabian says the sound is back. It's fixed. Yeah, okay. I had this happen before and I forgot to do this. I think sometimes what happens is, you might have heard the door going. When somebody else in my home gets in the car and uses it, the Bluetooth connects in the car. So that's probably what you were hearing. I do apologize. Please put your questions again in chat. And I'll answer them for you. Now we've got sound back and it's working properly. So sorry, Ed, you were asking, oh yeah, Ed was building his slime blower. Frank's asking me what Ghostbuster I'm gonna be for Halloween. That's a good question. I'll probably be a Ghostbuster at one point over Halloween, but this year, and if any of you follow my Instagram, you will have seen a teaser of something DeLorean and Time Machine related, which is going to be coming very, very soon. And so Halloween this year at Experience Explorers is going to be very Back to the Future styled. We're going to have a DeLorean. There's going to be a Back to the Future experience. It's going to be super fun. I'm very, very excited for that. So yeah, that's what's going to be happening at Halloween. But will I dress as a Ghostbuster? Of course I will at some point. That would be crazy if I didn't. Let's see. Right. And Ed's saying I'm going to be an Experience Explorers Ghostbuster. That's true. I am going to be. All right. Right. Back to real time. Sorry, I'm going back. Back to this. Let's see. Okay. So Ed, hopefully I answered your question now because the audio's back. What was the build part? Stephen is asking. And then Justin's asking about Ecto-1NJ. So yeah, oh, Gavin, yes. So I'll come back to the bit of the build. So actually all of this I built from scratch. This is 3D printed and then done. The wand was a Hasbro wand that I modded and painted and weathered. If that's the answer to the question you're looking for. And then Gavin was saying the Haynes book. So Ecto-1NJ does have the Haynes book. If you don't know what that is, it's like one of those Haynes manual that you might have for a Ford or some other car, but it's for the Ecto-1. It's very cool, and I've seen it around, and sometimes it rides with the Ecto, which is pretty cool. Epic Micky Fan, hey there. It's me, Husk, the person whose dad is a party Ghostbuster. Cool. Hi, welcome. It's good to have you in chat. Ed is saying I'm also acting in a Ghostbusters immersive experience. That's cool. Tell us more about that, Ed. Cameron's saying, and again, if any of you don't know, Cameron, he was on my live stream a couple of weeks ago. He's writing some Ghostbusters stories or stories inspired by Ghostbusters, and he's just talking about how he's creating a second part to the movie where they fight Sam Hain and his brother. Sorry, I should have my iPad with me. Normally I use my iPad for this, but the phone's far enough away for me to have to like do this sometimes to see the chat, and I haven't got my charging cable here to look at it. So I apologize if I'm not glaring at you. I'm trying to look at the chat. Let's see. Okay, so Epic Micky Fan is asking, was the blaster originally blue? No, actually, this was this color. But so let me show you that I've got two wands here actually. So this is the Spengler wand. And if you're not familiar with this, this is created by Hasbro. So this is designed to look like the wand from Ghostbusters Afterlife. You can see my red wire is broken here. And actually this demonstrates quite clearly the difference between the weathering on these two. So you see this has got much more of a toy look to it. Looks much more toy-like, and this is looking much more movie prop-like. And hopefully my audio was working when I said that I did the weathering with acrylic paint, stippling acrylic paint on it. Let's see, Ed was saying their one was, but painted it, and that this one is from HasLab. Correct, Ed, yes. It's for a charity fund, and actors and stunt doubles and Ghost Corps UK are also coming. Oh, that's super cool, Ed. An interactive experience. I'd love to know more about that. Do you know which franchises in the UK are coming? It'd be nice to know more about that. Sounds really fun, by the way, and sounds like the kind of thing. If you know me even a slightly bit, you will know that I would really enjoy that. Let's see, Epic Micky Fan. Oh, okay. It was the other one. Gotcha. Yeah, there is a blue pack. I know the one you're talking about. On the video that hopefully, if I can get the energy to finish editing it, I look at a lot of people's different packs that we saw on Ghostbusters Day, and there is a terrific mod. One of my favorite mods. It's the blue pack, a very small pack that's been modded for this guy's kid, and it's one of the coolest like miniature packs I've ever seen. Absolutely beautiful. So hopefully I'll be able to get I'll be able to get that edited and you'll be able to see it, I hope. Let's see. Ed's saying it's life-size. Yes, this is the life-sized full-size wand. Epic Micky Fan. Gavin, it's supposed to be movie accurate. Okay, yeah. Byron shouts out from the Philippines. Hey, Byron in the Philippines, welcome. Welcome. I at one time knew how to say hello and how are you and I'm going to say this wrong, so I'm really, really sorry, Byron. Type it in chat. I know that there's the right word for the Filipino language. It begins with a G. And I knew how to say hello. So you have to re-educate me, but welcome. It's good to have you here from the Philippines. Mo, hello, how are you? I am good, thank you. Mo's loving the pack. Looks really amazing. Love the direction you took with making it weathered 84 with some Afterlife mods. So cool. Thank you. Yes, thank you. That was exactly what I was going for, and I'm glad that you see that in it. And I actually did some research on that particular vibe. And if you look in there, if any of you are big Ghostbusters fans, you might have the Ghostbusters Afterlife art book. And there's all this wonderful concept art and behind the scenes stuff. I love books like that, by the way. Those are like my absolute favorite kind of coffee table books. But in there are pictures of the 84 packs that the other OG Ghostbusters were wearing when they turned up. And of course, you don't really get to see much of them because they're facing the camera rather than you seeing them from behind. But this is very much in the universe of being an Afterlife pack that hasn't been modified by Spengler. So yeah. Ed, SOS, Southend-on-Sea, real Kent Ghostbusters, and that's it. Southend-on-Sea. Southend-on-Sea, close to my heart. Love a bit of Southend. Epic Micky Fan is saying, have the blue mod one, got it yesterday at a yard sale. Oh, great, good for you. I'm planning on making Ghostbusters costume with it. That's awesome. Yeah, I mean, gosh, if you can pick up some Ghostbusters stuff at a yard sale, good for you. That's great. Gavin's saying, never seen the life-size ones. They are really good. And I guess it's not the kind of thing, I don't know anywhere that you can, I think you have to buy these online. Correct me if I'm wrong. I haven't seen them available in any stores anywhere, any shops. So yeah, it's harder to see them. And even if they were, the boxes that they come in are completely enclosed, so you couldn't even see them through like a window or anything. So yeah. But they're great. Well, here they are now, and Gavin, if there's any questions you've got about these ones, I'm very, very happy to demonstrate it or show you anything about it. And in a second, if you're interested, I'll get into talking about more detail about how I did the weathering and how I kind of brought this to life to make it look more like a movie prop. Let's see. Oh yeah, there we go. Byron's telling me the right answer, and I'm going to pronounce this really wrong. Xavier's saying, hello, dude, cool build. Thank you very much, Xavier. Appreciate that. Talagog is hello. So it's Kamusta? Am I saying that right? I hope I am. I hope I am. Anyway, thank you for telling me. I appreciate it. I need to get it right. It's always awesome. We have people from all over the world join these live streams and join the channel. And we actually have a lot of people from Philippines. When I look at the stats, Philippines, Mexico, Brazil, England, and obviously the United States, which is where I live now. But it's cool that it's kind of multicultural. But those are actually the top countries, amazingly, which is really cool. So you're very, very welcome, and it's good to have you here. Ed is saying, for the blue one, make it black and make an attenuator mini proton pack that fits on your belt. Like I did, it's worth it. Cool, that sounds awesome, Ed. Justin's saying, will you be making a pack attenuator like Adam Savage? So, I've got to tell you this story because it's very cool. Some of you will know, and again, hopefully those of you that are watching know who Adam Savage is. If you don't, he's has an incredible YouTube channel called Tested. He was one of the Mythbusters. Fantastic person, great maker. I aspire a lot towards his aesthetic and approach to things, but I find him a real inspiration. And if you haven't read his book, Every Tool's a Hammer, highly recommend it. But I went to a convention a few weeks back and I got to meet Adam and we spoke about the attenuator. I completely forgotten about this until you mentioned the attenuator. So he was saying, and I thought this was really fun, he was saying, isn't it cool that this like thing that I made on my channel as part of my pack, because I wanted, when you're standing front as a Ghostbuster, and again, this is a really good point, I'm sure this is possibly why you mentioned this. When you're standing with your pack on, and you haven't even got your wand on, it's like on the pack. As a Ghostbuster from the front view, there's nothing technological. I mean, other than maybe the belt piece, but you're in your jumpsuit. So he wanted to build an attenuator, something you could adjust your pack with that had lights and had some of, you know, the classic things like the bar chart and the switches and other things and a dial on it. And he designed that on his channel and it's just been picked up and gone everywhere. I mean, I would love to see that in a Ghostbusters movie, but basically he said it's basically canon, and I agree with him. It's kind of become canon in the community. You see those attenuators and you don't even think twice. You're like, that's a proper Ghostbusters thing. And Adam Savage came up with it, which is absolutely amazing. So that was a really fun conversation that Adam and I had, actually. Epic Micky Fan is saying, didn't expect to find any. There was a blaster, a pair of goggles, and a bunch of 2021 figurines. That's amazing. That's a great deal. Yeah, I want to find out where that yard sale is. I'll come and buy some stuff. Xavier's saying, really accurate. Thank you very much. Gavin, seen one of the marketplace for about 200. Okay. Ed is saying, the blue one is like 85 to 90% size. Yeah, I think so. Fabian, the one is sold out in Europe, sadly. Oh, I'm sorry, Fabian. It's one of the frustrating things. A lot of the fans I talk to that aren't based, I mean, obviously you can tell I'm a European originally, but yeah, it's a lot harder to get stuff like this in Europe. And speaking to some British fans as well, just about traps, right? You know, I've got a whole video on building, like modding a trap. Oh, holding too many things here. But yeah, like a whole video on how you mod a spirit trap like this to make it, you know, look like a trap from the movie. And here in the United States, this is not an expensive, within reason. I mean, expenses are all relative depending on where we are and what things we have to spend money on. But it's kind of like a sub $50, around $50 trap to buy. And so this is a really fun thing to be able to mod and make look more realistic like in the movie. But it's much harder to get in Europe. And by the time you ship this to Europe, it's very much more expensive than it would be. So that is tough. And I'm sorry that that's an experience for those of you that are outside of America. Let's see. Xavier, nice lighting on the build. Thank you very much. Thank you. Any questions you've got about it, happy to answer. There's sound in here too, but I actually added a little switch to turn the sound on and off because I was thinking that when I'm out walking around with the pack on, and the idea was to get this finished and built for Ghostbusters Day, which of course it was, I was concerned about how noisy this was going to be when I was wearing it on my back. Because if you look at the back here, so this is the back view of the pack. Let me just move these things out of the way. So obviously we've got our Alice frame on here, and the aging I've done on here to make it look like an old pack. And then if you can see down the bottom here, here are the speakers. These are the speakers here. They're quite small, and some people have gone for much bigger speakers in their pack, and that's great. My choice was to go small because I wanted it to look in universe, as much in universe as possible. But these little, but then anyway, to finish what I was trying to say to begin with, if I could do this without dropping the wand, I don't know if you can see there, but there's a little switch. And that little switch that I put on just the bottom, and actually the funny story about that switch is it's originally from the trap that I was just showing you. It was the original on and off switch. I thought, oh, I'll just reuse that. And that means I can reach down behind my back and turn the sound on or off. So it's not on all the time. But it's actually, it's at its quietest right now, but it's pretty loud when you turn it on. If you can hear it over the air conditioning we've got in this room, because I live in New Jersey and we have been having a heat wave. I actually had to put, just literally the hour before we got on this live stream, I put an AC unit in the window of this of my workshop, because there's not a chance I could have stood here and given this live stream today if I hadn't done that. Anyway, back to the point. I'm going to turn this off for a second, and then I'm going to turn it on so you can hear the beautiful sound, hopefully over the air conditioning. That is a very satisfying sound. And I often have to go through the workshop, which is my garage, to get to the car or something. And pretty much every day I come in and turn this on because it's just nice. That sound, and there's a few other sounds that have like a classic impact on you emotionally, but the sound of a Proton pack starting up is just amazing. That and a time machine, a DeLorean time machine. And there's something about that 80s soundscape, isn't there, in those movies that have a great soundscape. Right. I'm going to turn the audio off here so it doesn't distract us. But yeah, very useful to be able to turn that off. Right, sorry, questions. Illegal Gamer saying, who you going to call? Ghostbusters, I think, is the answer you're looking for. Jacob saying, pack looking better and better. Thank you so much. I mean, hopefully this is it now. It's kind of done, which is kind of crazy to think that. Mo Peps is asking, what's your motherboard made of? Trying to do aluminum because somebody I know has access to a water jet. That's a great idea if you can do that. But getting the material is actually quite difficult. Yeah, so in the end, I went for, this is a plywood that's on mine, but it's kind of a heavy ply, and so it's pretty tough, and I found it to be strong enough for what I need. And then I did the aging and weathering to make it look much more like it was actually made of aluminum if you're American and aluminium if you're English. And we do actually spell it differently, which I think is fascinating. So I went for that, and I found that pretty good. What I did was I took my shell, whoops, as it collapses behind me. I took the shell, I laid it down on the piece of wood, and then I drew a basic outline, and then I looked at other reference material to check that I was making it correctly. Okay, let's see what else people are saying. Ed, I have to go. It's 11 p.m. British time. So bye. Bye, Ed. Sleep well. It is late in the UK. Epic Mickey is saying they didn't have any more. My mum said her son was really into Ghostbusters at one point. The mum, sorry. And all of the total was $8. What the heck? That's crazy. That's a good deal, Epic Mickey. That's amazing. Yeah, it was a steal. It was a steal. So yeah, that's really, really good. Let's see. Mo is saying traps are pretty easy to get in Europe. Oh, they are. That's great. Just a different retailer. The hardest parts to get in Europe are the fan-produced parts and the flight suits. Okay. Jacob's saying, what did people think on Ghostbusters Day? People loved it. The best thing that happened on Ghostbusters Day, I mean, there were a few folks that checked this pack out. So, number one, this pack sat on the front seat of the Ecto-1 the whole day, which was really fun. So it kind of sat there with the lights going, and it was on the front seat, where it belongs, right? The pack should be in an Ecto. That's where pack should be. But the other thing that was cool was that I got to see AC Martin, who many of you may know was the stunt double for Phoebe Spengler. She got to ride in the gunner seat. That was her job on the film, was to sit in that gunner seat while that car drove around the streets of New York. So very acquainted with the props, very acquainted with all Ghostbusters paraphernalia. She's been in it, she's lived it. And I asked her, do you want to check out my pack and give me your judgment? Tell me what you think of the pack. AC loved it. She put it on, she got to use it. And I was like, this is great. My pack has been officially blessed by a member of the cast of Ghostbusters Frozen Empire. So I was very, very happy with that. But people did enjoy it. Thanks for asking, Jacob. Um, let's see. Justin saying, what will the next Ghostbusters build be? I'm thinking of doing a PKE meter as a Ghostbusters build because I know that obviously I've done the traps and the PKEs coming out as part of the 2 in a box. So I thought, well, I'll give it a go. I'll give it a go. See if I can do an 84 star PKE meter. Francisco Silva. Hey, Francisco. Nice to see you. Ed saying yes, and actually they have to go now. Ed. Right. Yeah. Enjoy, Ed. Thanks for joining the chat. Epic Micky Fan. Also, sorry, yapping about the yard sale stuff too much. No, it's fine. Just really excited to get to talk about something like yard sales with a streamer I like. But, well, hey, look, we can talk about yard sales all the time. I love them. I've got to tell you, if you want to talk about yard sales for a second, estate sales are great. And again, if you're not from the US, I didn't really understand what estate sales were until I came here. But it's when somebody moves out of their house or is moving on or maybe has sadly passed away. And the whole house is kind of, all the contents of the house are put up for sale. And you can walk around the house and buy things. Because we're planning this Back to the Future experience, I've been looking for a lot of 80s things, like 80s clocks and 80s alarm clocks. I've got to show you something that I got in a yard sale that is going to be perfect for our Back to the Future experience. Now, look at this. This is a proper 80s alarm clock. I was like, wow, that is going to be perfect for our Back to the Future experience. So yeah, I love yard sales, so don't worry about talking about yard sales. You are very welcome. That's where all the props, that if anyone gets to come here to do the walkthrough experience of Back to the Future, you'll see the place filled with stuff from yard sales. Let's see. Francisco saying, we love the paint scheme. Thank you, Francisco. Fabian, next Ecto goggles. I have got some Ecto goggles that I would be interested in doing some stuff with, so yes. Adrena, is that, did I say that right? I hope I did. I apologize if I didn't. Can I use it? I will. You know what? I'll put it on in a second and we'll show it working. And I'll show you some of the other cool things. It's got a few tricks up its sleeve, this pack. Let's see. Gavin's saying, just thinking of the song when Marty goes back to 58, sorry. Yes, exactly. Francisco's saying, do you say soldering like soldering or soldering? I say soldering. How do people say it here? Soldering? There you go. I always learn something new. Even though I've lived in America for 6 years, I learned something new about pronunciation, usually from myself mispronouncing something. Felix is saying, brilliant. Thank you, Felix, and welcome. Mo Pips. Was thinking about doing wood, but aluminum. This is back to the motherboard, which if you're not familiar with pack builds, when we talk about the motherboard, we're talking about the piece that sits on the back of the pack. So that's the motherboard, for those of you that aren't aware of that. This pack does not want to stay upright. Mo is saying, aluminum is just more durable. Definitely, especially with my mechanical cyclotron. If you can do aluminum, you should do it. I spoke to Ben Eady, as you guys know, the prop master on Ghostbusters Afterlife, about this very topic of motherboards. And as you, I'm sure, know, all the motherboards in the movie are aluminum or aluminium. That was his suggestion. So I think if you can find the material and if you can get it water jet cut, do it. I will be jealous, Mo. Of your motherboard. Cameron's sharing some more of his story, which sounds really, really cool. Cameron, you've got so many good ideas. Felix is saying they really like Ghostbusters. Cool, you're in the right place then, because we really like Ghostbusters here. Not only Ghostbusters, but we do like Ghostbusters. Francisco's saying, got some Spectre ribbon cable for steel. That's great. 5 feet for a few bucks. Also got some NASA vintage switches. Ooh, that sounds great. I want to know more about your NASA vintage switches. That sounds amazing. And Cameron's telling us more about their universe. Oh, Cameron, this sounds like a cool story. I'm looking forward to you coming out with stuff on your channel. Eddie! There's Eddie. How you doing? I'm sorry, man, that YouTube didn't tell you. I don't know why sometimes it doesn't tell people that I'm live streaming. Eddie and I got to ride around in the Ecto at the end of Ghostbusters Day, which was a lot of fun. That was super cool, and we did 2 live streams. There's 2 live streams on my channel of Eddie and I hanging out with the Ecto Tech and the Ecto after Ghostbusters Day. That was pretty fun. We drive up to the New York Public Library and hang out there for a bit. Francisco's saying, yard sales a thing in the UK? Are they a thing in the UK, or strictly on an American phenomenon? They're rare in the UK. I think that we understand the principle of them as Brits, but we have a thing. You'd call it probably a flea market in America. We call it a car boot sale or a car trunk sale. And so you take your stuff in your car to like a field or a location and then sell it there. It's not often, at least I've not lived there for 6 years, so somebody from Britain correct me, but it's not often a phenomenon. What I would say is when we moved here to the US, we had a garage sale or a garage sale at our house in the UK and sold a lot of the things we needed to sell before we moved. Let's see. Epic Mickey is from the US and never heard of an estate sale. Oh, really? Yeah, that's interesting. I mean, it's something that happens here in New Jersey all the time. And one of the things that, I showed you this very 80s looking alarm clock. If any of you are fans of Stranger Things as a series, most of the props that they've got in Stranger Things are original 80s items that they got from estate sales. So they just went to every estate sale they could and bought all the old things they could to stock the sets with them. So yeah. NC Matt, I got some 80s stuff. Nice. And welcome, NC Matt, to the chat. It's good to have you here. Danny's saying, never got your answer on making an Archimedes dial. Oh yeah, the audio is out. What I was saying when the audio was out was I would be very interested in making an Archimedes dial. And I think I also said that I find it really exciting, those kind of, as we call them in the movie industry, MacGuffins, those objects of interest that the star of the film is chasing after are always really fascinating things to me that I would like to possess and have. So yes, the idea of making one of those really does interest me. Gavin, could you show the tube with the smoke? I can, Gavin. I'm going to come back to that. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to try and quickly get through this chat because I'm a little bit behind, and then I will do a demo and I'll show the smoke. So I'm going to come back to that, Gavin. Francisco's asking, forgot to mention, working on the roof rack sniffer using a windshield motor to oscillate. Nice, that's a good idea. Felix is saying, don't know why no one liked the movie Ghostbusters 4. My pleasure, that's cool, and the Proton pack is very nice. Ghostbusters 4, do you mean, I'm not sure what you mean, Afterlife, in my mind, I guess is the 4th movie, but it's kind of the 3rd movie, or do you mean Frozen Empire? I don't know, I liked it. I know a lot of people that liked it, so you're not alone. Epic Micky Fan is saying, Francisco Silva, not entirely sure, but they are fun and interesting to sometimes get a backstory for an item. Oh yeah, talking about the yard sales. Yeah. Oh, a shout out to Baja. Hello. Gala Code. Hello, welcome. Ecto Trip. Hello. Good to see you. We hardly got to speak very much at Ghostbusters Day, but thank you for sending me those photos of the subway. Ecto Trip sent some amazing pictures to me on Instagram of the subway filled with people in khaki or whatever we say in America, but in flight suits. Super amazing. That was really, really fun. But they've got no power. I'm sorry, Ecto Trip. That's not good. Flashpoint Dan saying, what a coincidence that I get this in my feed as I'm building my pack. That's awesome, Flashpoint. That is great. Well, I mean, I'm gonna break down what I did in a second after I've answered these questions. So if there's any questions you want to ask me that could help you, ask away. Felix is saying, don't speak English, I speak Spanish. I'm using a translator. Well done, Felix. Wow. I wish I could speak Spanish, and then I could speak to you properly. Mo is saying, where did you get your labels for the pack? I'm thinking about buying labels made by Ecto Labels when they're back in stock. So I got a sheet of labels. It was really just a sticker sheet, and then I had to use an X-Acto blade, as they call it here, or a Stanley knife, as we call it in England, to cut these out. And then I stuck them in place where you see them here on the pack. I was actually really happy with these. I think they were 9 times. I would give it like a 9 out of 10. The only ones it did not have the right. You may notice that this sticker. I don't know if you can see this because the chat's in the way. This sticker on the original pack isn't actually red. It is red. It's white with red writing rather than red with white writing. And this pack didn't come with one. And I don't think anyone's noticed it yet. Somebody that is beady-eyed will definitely notice it. But yes, so that's the kit I used. That one I know is a good one. So yeah, I think that would be worth getting. Ecto Mickey referring to car boot sale is saying we call it a flea market. I'm catching up on the questions, guys. I'm almost there. Francisco's saying estate sales are a huge in flyover states. My friend is stationed in Arkansas and goes all the time. Right, yeah. I think maybe they're more of a deal in some parts of the country than others. I know, obviously, the team for Stranger Things, when I talked about that, they're based in Georgia, and I think they had a lot of those in Georgia. But pre-COVID here in New Jersey, you'd see estate sales all the time. Much less now since COVID. I think partly because of the just people moving and not moving isn't quite the same as it used to be. A lot more people would move in. People would sell their houses. Anyway, it was a whole thing. There'd be stuff out on the street every summer as people moved away because they weren't working in New York anymore and they moved back in. And so you could pick up stuff on the street that people were getting rid of. It was crazy. It was, good things. I got a treadmill, a really good treadmill off the street one day. Crazy. Let's see. Flashpoint Dan saying, I hear the Max Factory labels are great as GB fans as well. Okay, cool. That's good to know as well. And Mo's responding, but they're quite hard to, like you were saying before, Mo, expensive for Europe. Flashpoint, yeah, foreign shipping is a pain for those things. It is difficult. Let's see. Caleb Verdi, I remember Ghostbusters Afterlife movie. I love Ghostbusters Afterlife. It's one of my favorite Ghostbusters movies. And welcome, Caleb. Welcome, Nicholas. Love the Ghostbusters song. It is a great song. Dennis, what's the machine in the background? It's a Proton pack from Ghostbusters. We're talking about building them, and we're chatting about Ghostbusters. And actually, what I'm doing now is just answering everyone's questions. But I'm gonna give you a tour of this in a moment. Let's see. And Francisco's saying, since you're in New Jersey, do you ever see any fandom for The Sopranos? That's a good question. I personally don't see much of any where I am, but I'm sure there is. Mo Pips is saying, Ecto Labs makes an amazing set of labels. They also include some labels on aluminum plates. Yes, that would be good for here. Aluminum plates and here, actually. And also some nice shiny ones, probably one of the most accurate label sets, almost as good as Max Factory. Yeah, again, if I was going to update some things, that would be what I would do, for sure. Christian, hi Christian. Oh, okay, interesting statement from Christian there. Caleb is saying, how about Ghostbusters Afterlife mod? Yeah, so this actually, strictly speaking, is an Afterlife. It is an Afterlife pack, but it's not the Spengler pack. This is more like the Zedmore pack from Afterlife. And I said earlier, if you look at the pictures of the Zedmore pack in the Ghostbusters artwork book for Afterlife, this is pretty close to that pack. Felix is saying that they're going to write to me in Spanish. Thank you. They'll help me learn Spanish. And Flashback Dine, my group was at the LA Ghostbusters Day event. Awesome. That looked so good. You said it was so much fun. We were lucky enough to have the day recognized by the city. I know. Isn't that awesome? There's a proper certificate now saying that the city recognizes Ghostbusters Day basically as a holiday. That's so cool. I love that. Marco, wow. Did it catch any ghosts with this? well, let's look at whether we can catch some ghosts with it in a second. And Mo's just talking about the aluminum plates would be the gearbox, yes, yes, the gearbox and the plate here. You're saying the label of the bumper. You're right. It is just shiny. But this one's aluminum, right? Just tell me if I'm right. This one and this one are the two that are, I believe. I think I'm pointing at the right things. I was like going gearbox. Wait, gearbox? Yes, this is the gearbox. There you go, Mips. Thank you very much for confirming that. Okay, cool. All right. So let's get back to this original question. Show some of the features of this pack. So I'm going to move this a little bit closer. And by the way, a thunderstorm alert has just come up on my phone. So if suddenly you find that the live stream has ended, it's because a thunderstorm has started and maybe I've lost connection. Okay, so a few things about this pack. Obviously, as you know, on the live stream I spent a lot of time with this 3D printed version of the Switch here. But there's a few other things, a few special things about this pack. So I've got a couple of secret switches that I added here in the tape. If I press one of them, you'll notice that there's this sparking that starts happening here in this cabling. So that's one of the things I've added. And then the other thing that I'm very pleased with, and this is a CNA prop design build here. I can press this other button and you'll start to see that the lights on the side here start to flash, and then the trap vents smoke as it's overheating. And I'm super happy with this. This is, and I have to give a shout out to CNA Props. They built this for me super quick and sent it to me in time for Ghostbusters Day. And the US Postal Service did manage to get it here in time, thankfully. And I really like that as a kind of little thing for the pack. So yeah, just a couple of little additions there that I'm super happy with for the pack. And so, oh, TG Playtime's here. Hi, welcome. And sorry, I'm just trying to read what you're saying. Ectotrip saying, I would love to chat more, but broke my phone and it's ghosting like crazy at the moment. I'm sorry, Ectotrip. So yeah, I'm going to take the phone off the stand here. Hello there, YouTube. I'm going to turn this camera around. And so you can get a much closer up look at everything here. So let's start at the top here. So one of the things you'll notice on, and again, mine is not like designed to be perfectly the same as a screen use pack, but it's designed to look like it is in that universe. So the first thing that I did, this is a 3D printed pack, by the way. So this is all PLA, the whole pack. And then one of the first things I did here was I added these welding marks here in order to make it look more like it's actually made of metal, both on the top, on the ion arm, and here. And then this is actually a piece of copper or bronze. I'm trying to remember if it's a piece of bronze. What did I get it out of? It's not copper. Oh my gosh, my brain is going crazy. It's real metal, if that helps, Gavin. Then the other thing, you'll notice as well that there's some other weld lines here. So one of the things I noted was, brass, thank you, Mo. Oh my gosh, why couldn't I remember the name of that metal? I appreciate you. You're always completing my sentences for me, and I'm very grateful. Thank you. But I added some of these, you see these weld lines here and here? I wanted it to look like this pack had some damage. And so you can see there's various other welds here. These were all done using a glue gun technique. And again, I'm gonna show that when I do the full video of the pack being built. But that process basically involves using a glue gun to create the effect of a weld line. And so here is probably the place that you can see it the best. You get this sense of those welding marks and those welding moments. And it does take a little bit of time, and you have to be a little bit patient with it. But I added all of those to anywhere as well that I thought needed to look less fake, basically. So there were a couple of places here where you could see some seams in my 3D printing, because this pack is multiple pieces. So I did a couple of things. I added these weld lines, and then the other thing you can see this kind of texture here and here that makes it look kind of used and abused. I'd already sprayed the pack with a bed liner in certain places, and you'll notice the difference. So this is a smooth texture, because on the original packs, this is a metal tube, as are these tubes here, supposed to be metal tubes, so they don't have a kind of textured surface to them. But here, you'll notice this texture, and that comes from spraying it with a truck bed liner. But to add this additional texturing, and also to help fill some of the areas that were, you know, looking too 3D printed to me, I actually used spray glue. And what I did with that was I sprayed the glue on. So when I mean spray glue, let me grab it for you. I'm talking about something like this. So like a Gorilla Glue spray adhesive that you might use to spray paper to foam board, or but when you spray this on, if you've ever noticed, it creates a very textured finish. And so what you're able to do with that is, if you keep that textured finish, you can use it in this way, and then I painted over it to get this kind of textured element to the way things look. Justin's asking, did I have to sand down my prints? Yes, I did a lot of sanding and a lot of filling to get them to look the way they did. It was quite a process. And then even when you've done all of that, sometimes you find that there's still more that you need to do to get that printing to look right. And then here you'll notice I added some kind of cut marks and dents that make it look like TG Playtime hates sanding my prints. Yeah, me too. Oh, it's the worst. But you'll notice I create some kind of denting here to make it look like dented or kind of gashed metal. And I used a couple of tools to help me with this. I mean, obviously this was just scratched out, but I'm trying to find in the background here behind my printing, because it's still on the surfaces. I used a couple of things to help with this look. So this is a great tool called Rub and Buff, and I use that to create this kind of look. Basically, you put this, it's like a silver paste. You put a tiny bit of it on your finger, and then you can rub it in, and it creates that metallic look that you're seeing here. And then the other thing I used, and this is an absolutely amazing tool. It's the first time I've used this, but liquid chrome pen. And this liquid chrome pen creates such a realistic looking metallic look that when you use this, you get that kind of shine. And actually, it's very hard to see the difference it makes on camera. When I was filming some of the clips of what I was doing to record this, which obviously there'll be a whole build video eventually, it was hard to see the difference that this makes. But you can see here with these little, sorry, I'm getting too close with the camera, these little kind of chipped places. And I'm not sure this is going to show up on this live stream, but they glint as you kind of move the camera, and it shows you, you know, it gives it the effect of looking a lot more like it's actually metal. At least that's the plan. So yeah, and I did that in various places, and again here to like kind of showed chipped paint or marked paint. And this actually you can see is a combination of two. So this is a standard metallic pen mixed with the chrome, and I think here is the place you can see it the most, is the difference. So that looks more dirty and silvering, and then this gives it more of a like metallic chipped paint look. Justin's asking how I combine the prints. There's a lot of different ways to do it, and there's some really good advice online about how to do it. But what I did was I used screws to screw the pieces together, and screws and bolts. So I'll show you what they are. These little M3 screws here. So I use these kind of thing. So that's what they look like. It's so frustrating that on YouTube I can't get my camera close. But yeah, so that's what I used. And then I used an epoxy resin that, if you've watched my live streams before, you'll have seen me use epoxy. I used epoxy to hold the pieces together, and then you have to go in and do the filling. And like I said, some of these places where the print joins were, they were still apparent even after the work that I'd gone to fill it. And as you can imagine, by the way, sorry, I'm riffing here, but filling in some of these parts is hard once you start to put the pack together. So that's why I decided, and again, I'm not telling you you need to do this, but I wasn't satisfied with seeing any seaming, so I wanted to create these weld lines. I even got one in here, look. And I used that chrome pen on it as well. You can see the light kind of shining off that chrome pen in there. But I used that chrome pen to make those weld lines look realistic. So I covered them completely with the chrome pen, and then I went back over them and repainted them with an acrylic paint to make them look old. Sorry, questions. Enzo, hey, what's up? Hey, man, what's going on with you? Gavin's saying, does the crank generator work? Well, it turns, but it does not work. It doesn't work like Adam Savage's crank generator. Originally, and I bought all the pieces for it, I was going to put a volume control in here so you could turn the volume up or down, and I had everything I needed. But in the end, the amp that I purchased to add the sound to this didn't work very well. I'll show you, maybe it's in here. Can't remember where it was now. I've got it knocking around here somewhere, but it turned out to be a complete fail. And so it was quite interesting. The MP3 unit that I bought that plays the audio, if I turn this back on down here, you can hear the audio. So the MP3 player that plays the audio that's in here, that is the original player connected to the speakers that I bought. And so when I do the full video, I'm going to put all the parts I purchased and used up there so you can, see what I did. And by the way, I'm not saying that you have to do what I've done, but at least it might help you understand the choices I made, and you can decide whether you like them or not. TG Playtime, glue them together and fill the seams. Yes, yeah. Enzo's saying, my cardboard Proton pack is halfway done. That's awesome, Enzo. Good work. There's some great Proton packs that aren't 3D printed, like the ones made of the gym matting and the ones made of cardboard. There's some really good ones out there. So yeah. And then the other thing I was really happy with is this strain relief here. So this is a pack. These are I think, based on all the research I've done, are exactly the same ones that you see in the movie. And they just look great on these little moments. And then I wrapped the top of the strain relief with a bit of tape, and then I actually set fire to it, melted it in place. So that aging isn't actually paint, it's really burn marks. And same up here with these ones where they've been held in place. So yeah, and then you'll see another little, this is yellow tape here. I did the same thing on this one at the bottom. But yeah, I have to say that the weathering part of this, there's the pack shutting down. The weathering part of this, here, I'm going to turn the switch off again because it's going to get noisy and annoying quickly. My favorite part of doing this really was the weathering. It was so much fun. It took a lot longer than I was expecting, but it really did. I really enjoyed myself doing it. And it was hard sometimes to remember to film because I was so in the zone playing with it. And then I'll show you, oops, making a mess here. I've got too many things on my workbench. You guys know me. I always end up with too many things on my workbench by the end of these live streams. I should mention, I told you the thunderstorm was coming. Heavy rain outside, folks. Very heavy rain. So this is a close-up of the wand. Like I said before on the live stream, tried to age this piece here to ensure that it was looking a lot less like the toy. The toy version is here. You can see what that looks like. And there's two things that are very... See you, TG Playtime. Thank you for joining the live stream. This looks much more like a toy. You can see the difference here with adding the tape and adding the weathering, the difference that it makes here. Oh, Gavin, thank you so much. That's super kind of you to give me a super kind super. There you go. Thank you very very much. And Gavin, as you've donated to the cause of Experience Explorers, let me know if you've got a question. The time is yours. If you want to ask me any questions, you're my priority right now. But yeah. Sorry, I can't pronounce your username for Eepie2Blue, but hello from Russia. Hi, it's good to have you here. And TG Playtime, who had to go because they needed to leave, but they're making a 3D printed one since I already started a cardboard one and thought I might as well finish it. That's great. But yeah, thank you, Gavin. I really appreciate that. You'll notice here, again, trying not to get too close so the focus goes out. You'll notice here on these weld marks, so these are all part of the toy. You see, this is the original toy here. So that's what that weld mark looks like. And just look at the difference here on these weld marks. Now, those are exactly the same mold. So they've come out of the same mold as each other. But that's the difference that chrome pen makes. So if you can find this, and again, I'm sure it's called different things in different countries, but liquid chrome is what I use. That's the pen I used, and the important part is that it has this mirror effect. So there are other types of pens that are called metallic. They're called metallic, which are more like this. So that's like a metallic pen, like a paint marker. And that will not give you the same result as the liquid chrome pen, which will make things... Oh, sorry, TG Playtime. I thought you were going. I'm sorry. You were saying bye to Cameron. Thank you, TG. I appreciate you helping people have a good experience on the chat. Thank you. I'm so sorry. I've totally misinterpreted that. Welcome back, TG Playtime, who never left. Leeds 106. Hi from Yorkshire, Ghostbusters. Hello. Welcome. It's good to have another Brit. I know we've got other Brits on the chat as well, but welcome from Yorkshire. I'm good friends with one of the Chorley Ghostbusters who were in the movie. In fact, they were on my live stream last time. Let's see. Enzo's saying, for the wand, I've used a Proton blaster mod that I've repainted in black for my pack. That's great, Enzo. Gavin saying, for your basement, you should get an 84 for the Afterlife Plasma Series Ecto 1. The 84 or the Afterlife Plasma Series Ecto 1. Yeah, that would be cool, man. I need to do more live streams for my basement. And TG Playtime's from Devon. Oh, Devon. Whereabouts in Devon are you? I lived in Devon for a bit, TG Playtime. Let me know. Yeah, Gavin, I would love to do that. I have big plans for the geeky basement. I tell you, I really do. Big plans. I'll do a whole video about it, but there's going to be a Ghostbusters area, a Jurassic Park area, so many things. But it's just finding the time. But yeah, as I was saying, I mean, the point I'm really trying to make here is that there's a big difference between the metallic paint, which is what that looks like. Can't get too close, Matt, remember? And then the chrome paint, which is this. And even though in 2 dimensions, it's not even as cool to see as it is in 3 dimensions with my 2 eyes. You can see the difference that the shine makes on it. But yeah, and as I said to you before, this here, under here, this is where I hid the buttons to do the special effects. So there's a button here, let me just move around, that I press this one, see if I can get both in shot. Oh, no, it's here. I press this button and that flashing, sparking light operates. So that's what causes that. And actually, that's just a regular blue LED in there that I've connected to a little device that you might have in your car to make your rear lights flash when you hit the brake. But it creates that kind of electrical sparking kind of look to it. And then here, this button here that's under the tape there, this activates the smoking aspect of the trap here. And like I said, this is a great addition. It's one of the things I love the most. And I put a wire gauze in here which is what it looks like in Ghostbusters 1 in the '84 movie. But I was chatting with Let's Run Some Red Lights Kip, and he was saying that for Ghostbusters 2, they actually didn't have those holes. They were not... how do I say this properly? They were not actually holes. They were, because they cast the Ghostbusters 2 packs from the original Ghostbusters 1 pack. There were no holes in it. They were kind of fake holes. But yeah, that's what I've done with this. I've used some gauze. But yeah. So Gavin's saying, I'm gonna head out. Have a good rest of your day. Thank you so much, Gavin, and thank you so much for the super. I really, really appreciate it. TG saying that they're in Torquay. I love Torquay. Torquay's great. I have been there multiple times. What a nice part of the world. I love Devon. It's beautiful. I've been in Barnstable and Bideford and Torrington, all over there, and I love that. I love that area of the world. Enzo, I've got an idea for the basement. Can you put an ecto containment unit? Oh my gosh, I would love to do that, and so that would be so cool. Caleb, hey Caleb, you're back. Hi, good to have you here. TG is closer to Paynton. I know Paynton as well. I have been there. I was going to say many a time. I've been there multiple times. Caleb, Mambe. So, TG Playtime. Oh, just burnt your finger. What did you do? Were you soldering? You have to pay attention to the soldering if you're doing it. Any other questions about how I did this? Let me know in the chat. I'm very, very happy. Oh, sorry that you burnt your finger, TG Playtime, while you were soldering. I have had some nasty burns. Yeah. Yes, hi, Caleb. We are responding to you. It's good to have you here in chat. Welcome. Yeah, so if you've got any questions about the pack or the build or anything that you would like to ask me about it, or even any advice that you got for me about it, you might see something and think, oh, you could do this or you could do that to it. Very, very, very happy to have your insight and input. I don't claim to be the expert on this, just someone that loves it. Tony, hi. How did you do your ribbon twist? That is a great question. It was hard. So this is a CNA ribbon, CNA props ribbon. These guys are awesome. They did the smoker for me and they did the ribbon for me. And this ribbon was immaculate, like a brand new 84 pack. And then what I was able to do was I had to twist it really, really tightly, and it was a little bit challenging to get it to ultimately go in that tiny hole that's there that it's supposed to go into. So basically, how did I twist it? With a lot of effort and a lot of patience and looking at reference shots to try and get it as close as I could. And then once I put it in this cable holder, I twisted it a little bit more to get it to look just right. So hopefully that answers your question, Tony. Very happy for you to ask me any more questions about that. It was challenging, but I was really pleased with how it came out. Thank you, Tony. Yeah, I am very pleased with it. And a huge part of it has to go down to how great the original prop was that I bought from CNA Props. They have a Facebook page if you want to go check them out. And I'm very lucky. The guy that makes the ribbon cables lives in my town. And I should say that he gifted this to me. We hung out at the Ghostbusters New Jersey premiere together, and he gave that to me as a gift, which was super kind of him. So I'm very grateful that I had that. Enzo's... oh, France. I don't know you're in France, Enzo. Whereabouts in France? I should have probably noticed it by your name being Le Cine Geek, as in cinema geek or movie geek, as we might say here in the US. Whereabouts in France are you? Lucas is from Germany. Hi, Lucas in Germany. It's good to have you here. I love how many people we've got from all over the world. It's so good. Jacob can speak French. So, Enzo, Jacob and you can have a good chat in French on the chat here. My French is not perfect. I can understand some of it. Caleb's saying, do the Afterlife mod for my pack. This actually is broadly an Afterlife pack, even though it doesn't have the Spengler mods. This is what the packs look like of the other Ghostbusters that turned up that hadn't been corrected or changed. So it's basically an 84 pack that's old, roughly. And now loads of people are speaking in languages I cannot speak, but I'm glad that you're talking to each other. That's super good. And that's awesome. TG Playtime does Spanish at school. And Luke is saying, is this the original Proton pack? So this is based on an original 84 Proton pack, but has been made to look like a pack from Afterlife that would have been used by someone like Zedmore when they turned up later in the film, towards the end of Afterlife. What electronics am I using? I'm using a pack of electronics that I got from Etsy. I can't remember the name of the provider, but it's a very simple setup actually. So I know there's lots of different options for electronics in packs, and you can use an Arduino, you can use lots of different boards and other things like that. But this is a very simple circuit board that just does the rotating lights, and does this piece here. And then my audio chip is literally powered by the power on and off. So I've got a switch at the back here, and apologies folks, I showed this to you before, but so the idea is this is the entire power switch, it powers everything. So I've kept it very simple. You just turn that on, and then it's actually turning on all of the electronics with that power switch. So it kicks in the audio, and it kicks in all the lighting and everything. And then I have a switch on the back here, hidden down the bottom and there, that I can turn on and off. Whoops. That is basically designed to turn the audio off. Gosh, it's so hard to do things when you're holding a video camera. Here we go. Oh, I've got it. Okay. Because the idea there is that you probably don't want the audio on all the time, especially when you're wandering around with the pack on your back. Oh, Enzo's going to do a Playmobil custom Frozen Empire Ecto 1 with a gunner seat. That's a great idea. Love that idea. That's really, really good. Yeah. Yeah, any other questions, let me know. I'm really happy to answer them. And again, if you guys are making your own packs, or if you're interested in building Ghostbusters props, happy to share any of the ideas that I've had or experience I've had. I can honestly say, let me turn this around now. I can honestly say that I've learned so much from doing this. I had a lot of ideas about how I wanted to do it when I started, and then a lot of those ideas changed as I went through the process of making it. So it was a whole experience in and of itself. Tony's saying, would I ever do a fully Frozen Empire pack? Yeah, I'd be really interested in it. I didn't want to make this one into one. I was really happy with doing an 84 kind of Afterlife mashup type pack. But let me just put this camera back on the tripod here, so you don't have to see me shaking as I'm speaking. So yeah, I would definitely consider doing one. And if you've seen some of my other videos, you'll know that I was very lucky to have the opportunity to see packs from the actual movie. So that was really cool for me. I got hands-on with those. They were a bunch of stunt packs, so I was able to see them in the flesh, as it were, or in the rubber, in the cast rubber. But it was really fun to see them, to see those. Oh wow, lots of things popping up in chat here. Justin saying, building a containment unit. What's your advice for the buttons? Ooh, that's really good. So you're talking about the square buttons that go down, you know, the different steps that you have to press. I think there's a few things, I suppose. Number one, the first thing I would be thinking about is, where can I obtain buttons that look exactly the same? And they must be available on Amazon. I haven't looked for them. So I'd look for that first. And then I'd probably then think about, what do I need each button to do? So I'd probably be looking at an Arduino unit. And those buttons would be, again, if you know anything about buttons, I'm sure you do, there's different types of actions that buttons can do. So they can be like an on-off or momentary. And for something like an Arduino box, where you want a button pressed to control an outcome, you're going to want a momentary switch. So I'd look for 3 momentary switches that are the right color and the right size. And then I'd look at how you're going to wire those into your Arduino. And the Arduino is going to have some code written in it that's going to say, press this button and then you're going to play this sound, or press this button and then it's going to do this thing. That's probably what I would, those are the kinds of things I'd be thinking about. That's very general, I know, but that's kind of what would be going through through my head. So let's see, what else? Mo is asking, oh, Mo is speaking in, I think in German, because I recognize bitte. So yeah, and the word English. The words I recognize in German. That's very impressive, Mo. Flashpoint is asking, how about the wand? Here is the wand. Yes, what do you want to know about the wand? Ask me any questions, I'm very happy to answer them. Oh, TG Playtime saying, did I know that the creator of Thomas the Tank Engine used to come down to Devon and go on the South Devon Railway, and now his daughter lives in Newton Abbot? I didn't know about the Newton Abbot bit, but I did know about Thomas the Tank Engine, because people told me that in Devon. Yes. Enzo is saying, since I've seen your videos about the shooting for Frozen Empire in New York, I've gotten the ideas to build it. That's awesome. Yeah. Oh, I'm really glad. You know what? I'm always excited to hear that somebody saw something that I did and got inspired to do their own thing. Because, you know, the tagline of this channel is explore, experience, create. And I really love the idea that anything that we might do on this channel would inspire you to go and create your own stuff. That's awesome to me. So it's so great to hear you say that, Enzo. Thank you. And I, you know, I want to know how it goes. I want to know how it goes. Caleb is saying, Proton Pack, go fast mod. Yeah, I'm sorry, Caleb. I'm not sure what entirely you mean by that, but I can tell you that making this Proton Pack was not fast. Mo is saying it's German, yes, and it's my first language after all. I didn't know that, Mo. That's cool. Oh, yes, I did. I did know that. I did know that. That's awesome. That's very, very cool. Flashpoint Dan is saying, do you have any lights and sounds on the wand? Yes. So this is actually a HasLab wand that I've, using the word modded is probably an exaggeration. I'm going to say that I've weathered it and added some things to it. So I did the paint job on it and changed the look and feel of things. But yes, the HasLab wand, this is the 84 wand. They do two, the 84 wand and this one, which is the Afterlife wand, the Spengler wand. But this is great, yeah. So let me just reset all these buttons. So you flip this switch here, the light comes on. You flip here, the rest of the lights come on, and then, so nice. And the other thing about this is there's some haptic feedback in the wand. So a couple of things happen. You can feel this whole wand it's got this kind of vibration of electricity, and then this button on the top, not only do the lights go up on the bar chart, but you can hear the sound goes down and up, but also the vibration or the haptic feedback in this changes. And then when you press the intensify button here, has some great lighting effects, and the intensity of the vibrating increases, which is like super cool. So, oh, TG Playtime, I think you are actually going now. So goodbye and thank you for joining. It's always a pleasure having you here. But yeah, so that's how the wand works. And the cool thing on this one is that you can change it to different styles. So this is now a slime blower. Nice sound effects there. Change it again, and then this is like a pulse. I think this one's the pulse. There you go. And then pressing it again takes it back to normal. It's just fun. I can fully admit to having stood with this in the dark, pretending to shoot ghosts with it. It's super fun. But yeah, and then the sounds when you turn it off. Oh yeah. Yes. Yes, that's what you want. That's what you want. Okay, so Tony's asking me about what tape. So this is just a regular electrical tape that I used here. Because what I didn't want to have happen was, I didn't want to make it too bulky. But what I wanted it to do was look like this was probably the original handle with a bit of tape around it, and then I actually sanded it. So I got some sandpaper and I just kind of sanded it up. And then the other thing I did, oh, there it goes. The other thing I did and this is going to be on my full build video as I use this. So this is Fuller's Earth, which is kind of like a dust, and took a brush and dusted that on everything. And it's really, really useful for creating an aged look. So you can dress something down or make something weathered by painting it and putting dirt into it, or multiple colors, right? And the technique is always, don't just use one color when you're weathering. You want to use a whole range of colors. So on this, I was using blacks and I was using browns and all sorts of things. But then the Fuller's Earth, which is like this dust that you paint into the gaps here, you can see it here. Look. Let me see if I can get, you can see the kind of dirt's hanging in there. What it does is it creates the reality of something that's old, because dirt gets into the crevices, and it sits in there. And so when you paint over everything with the Fuller's Earth, it's great. It's like it comes to life magically. Okay, Mo, if you have a lot of money lying around, you could get a GP Star kit at some point. They make one for Custom Pack and Hasbro one, maybe something for the future. Yeah, I've seen those. They are amazing. They do so many cool things. Enzo's saying, well, if you know about the build, I think I will start doing it next month. And if you want to see it, maybe it can pin you in my Instagram, maybe. Yeah, absolutely, do it. If you don't follow me on Instagram, it's just at Experience Explorers. So very happy for you to pin me or message me or show me the work that you're doing. Yeah, I'm always excited to see what people are building and working on. So please do that. Flashpoint is asking, didn't even catch that it was a Hasbro wand. I modded mine for my HasLab pack to feed the sound through an amp with big speakers. That's cool. Also cut out the vent light. Yes, I agree with the vent light thing. So I was in a real hurry. This arrived, and then I had to take this to Ghostbusters Day. The vent light, yeah, is a whole thing doing this. And I know there's a lot of different ways to do that. Did you take the whole thing apart to get it out of it? I've seen some people do that. I've seen some people take a Dremel. Be interested to know which approach you took. But I actually, in the end, what I did was I found that putting the paint on here and aging it up, it doesn't feel as offensive to me as this does. There's something so different about the way that looks to the way this looks that I can kind of live with the vent not being open, just because of playing with it and making it look aged. I think anyway, I mean, again, you may think I'm wrong about this, but I think the difference between the two, I know that they're also, one's the 84 and one's the Spengler, but I think this, to me, I'm kind of happy about it. It feels in universe enough for me to be like, oh yeah, this is something out of the movie. So yeah. Let's see. Tony, smart, nice work. Thank you very, very much. Flashpoint, also get the bright vent light replacement from, yeah, Futuro Tech on Etsy. That's cool too, yeah. Because in the movie, you see that the vent light, they use it basically as practical lighting in the movie. So you'll see them with their wands, and then the light from the vent light will shine up into their faces, and they use it as a way to kind of create a cool lighting effect. So yeah. So Flashpoint Dan says, I melted away a bit with a soldering iron and snapped off the vent section. You have to be careful because the vent light is part of it as well. Ooh, that's interesting. So the light's actually built into this plastic piece. I think I had seen that, but I'd forgotten. But that makes sense. I think that's always the challenge is, I did watch a video where somebody took this entirely apart, and if I was going to do anything, probably I'd go to that extent, and I just didn't have time and I didn't have the heart to do it. So I was like, no, I'm not going to take the whole thing apart. I can't. Tony's saying, I have 3 ones taken apart and 3 Dremeled one and took out the plastic, and the other Dremel was easier but uneven. Right, yeah, okay. Bye, Caleb. Thank you for joining. Felix is back. Hi, Felix. Welcome back. Yeah, I think I love the fact that as makers we can discuss all these different options that there are. There's like 20 ways of doing one thing, and it's always interesting to see what people tried. Did it work? Did it not work? What would they recommend? And that's very much kind of what I try and do on this channel. As I've said lots of times, I'm not trying to say this is the way you should do this. I'm saying this is what I'm trying. It might be helpful. It's more just a record of what I'm doing rather than a set of instructions on what to do. Flashpoint, they're screwed together at the hat, and the hat light is part of it as well, so be careful with that. Okay. Okay, cool, thank you. Mo is saying, we'll take my Hasbro wand, take apart my Hasbro wand because I want to swap out the barrel and remove the white diffuser. Just want a clear barrel with the LEDs inside. I really dislike the white part. I agree with you. And like I said, with the speed and the time I had, this was the best I could do. And like I said, I find it much less offensive like this. Again, I agree. I'd rather have a clear end, but this is I'm much happier with than this. But yes, clear would be fantastic. So, and then the only way to do that is to take this whole thing apart. Felix, I don't speak Spanish. I am so sorry. I need to learn. Enzo has done a pre-Ecto one like this before, and the mods in the '84 movie. Nice, nice. So yeah. Now I was going to say something and I completely forgot what it was. I can't remember. Oh yeah, I remember what it was. If you're new here, consider subscribing. I've done a whole video and that's the first time I've said, hey, don't forget to drop a subscription. If you like what you see and you've enjoyed chatting about this and you're not already a subscriber, consider subscribing to the channel. We have loads of cool stuff like this. And, you know, you can probably tell I'm a passionate maker. This is why I do this. And so my channel really is about, you know, going out and exploring other people's creativity and then coming back and building it and recreating it and creating experiences from other people's experiences. Enzo's saying, I've done it. Oh yeah, sorry, I read that, Enzo, apologies. Tony, ever thought of replacing the banjos on the wand? I haven't thought of doing that, but I could do it. One of the things I have thought about doing is the other thing that, let me just turn this on, that I don't like about this is that the bar chart has these little, and it looks even worse here on the camera, they have little dots rather than the little squares. And if you've been watching my channel, you'll have seen me do this, but I was thinking of doing, if I didn't want to take it apart, I was thinking of doing a mod similar to the mod that I did here. So again, it's not perfect, but what you can see on this is that it's got more of a bar chart experience. You can still tell that those lights are behind it, but because there's that kind of diffuser in there, and then I added this, that's the wand turning off. I added this bar chart that looks more like the one in the movie. This is the Spirit Trap, by the way. But yeah, I added that and then the light at the end because I wanted it to look more like what you'd expect to see in the film. So I was thinking of doing something similar with that. And you can see that they've tried to achieve the same kind of effect, actually, as the one that I have. You can see there that they've got that kind of bar chart, but I think the challenge with it, I have to turn all these off. The challenge with it is that you can see the bar chart there, right? The challenge is it's not dark enough to do it, and there's really not any diffusion in there. So I think they've got 5 bulbs in here, but you can buy the upgrade kits that have a proper 1980s looking bar chart in there. So that's something that you can think about doing to your wand. Let's see. Santos, hi, wow, hi, welcome. Roberto, cool, thank you, Roberto. Lots of cool emojis from Santos there. And Felix, do I know what a new Ghostbusters movie is coming out called Ghostbusters and the End of the Fire? Oh, I don't know about that movie coming out. I didn't know there was a new movie announced. I just know Frozen Empire. Unless Frozen Empire, unless End of the Fire is the name of that movie in another country. That might be it. Frozen Empire came out here in the United States in May. Tell me if I'm right, people. May, June, July. Yes, May. It was May, right? Oh my gosh, May 14th. Or at least that was the premiere that I went to. This year has gone quickly and I'm losing track. But I think, as always, the movies are called different names in other countries. So maybe that's the one and you just haven't seen it yet. Just in March. And very March, you're right, it was March, not May. Oh my gosh, Justin, thank you for saving me from embarrassment there. Mo is saying you can't upgrade the bar chart on its own. You have to replace all the electronics inside. That makes sense because there's only 5 in there, and you'd have to, yeah, it would have to be, yes, just like I've done here. I did not. There's only 3 lights here, and I've kept the original electronics and then added this. You see, when this light turns on, so does this one. They're just joined together. So that was my way of faking it. But I, again, tried to keep the original electronics and do something aesthetic to help bring it to life. That was the plan with that. So yeah, Enzo saying the pack is done, but can't make the light cycle like it is on the original pack. What electronics are you using, Enzo? Mine I bought, and they did it on their own. But hello, Anthony from France, or Anthony from France. Welcome. Tony's saying, love and respect everything you do on this channel. Oh, that's so kind of you. Thank you. You're very talented and fun to watch, and I look forward to every live stream and video. Keep up the amazing work. Tony, thank you so much. That's really, really kind of you. I really, really appreciate you saying that. Thank you. Yeah, and hearing that kind of stuff's really great, because sometimes, actually, I'll tell you, all day today, I've been editing the Ghostbusters Day video, and sometimes I had so much footage. I've been editing something 3 hours down to something like 25 minutes, so it's watchable and enjoyable. Because again, any of you that know that watch my channel is I like to keep things pacey and edited, and have a story so it's watchable. And it's a lot of work editing it down. So to hear that people enjoy the content makes a difference. It gives me the energy I need to keep going. So I super appreciate it. Felix, El Fantasma Principal. I'm assuming that the Ghost's the first one? The Ecto one? I'm sorry, I can't speak Spanish. I'm so sorry. So I don't know what you said. I get the impression the last word was crap, so something you didn't like. Lewis is saying, send some spirit traps to France, please. eBay is so expensive. We were talking about this earlier, how it's challenging to get hold of these things depending, but I think, Mo, you mentioned earlier that there's a way to get these that's a different brand that isn't spirit, so you don't need to get a spirit trap. Maybe you can let folks know in the chat where to get these, because I've heard that a few times in chat, and Mo seemed to have an answer to that. And Enzo's saying, well, it's homemade and I've used Christmas lights. Good for you. Hey, look, you can use anything to make stuff look good. So many actual props in real movies have used Christmas lights. So there is nothing, nothing to be ashamed of in doing that. SOS Gamer Ghostbusting. Yeah, we got all the kit to do it, man. If you've got a ghost, just let us know. We'll head out. We can trap it. We can catch it. I just need to go and grab my jumpsuit, and we're good to go. We're good to go. Mo's saying maybe you could take some flat LEDs and wire them in parallel. Yes, that is an interesting idea, like a fake bar chart. Now you've got me thinking, and I'm just looking, because I don't know if I have any completely... Yeah, I was just looking at these. I have a few LEDs here, like you do, knocking around. But these are all round LEDs. And then the other LEDs I have right now, and again, I mean, you can buy anything, but I love these. Oh gosh, this is not going to come out. I'm just going to take this drawer. So on Amazon, you can also buy these, which I love. They're already pre-wired, which is super helpful with positive and negative colors, because as you know, if anyone has used LEDs, they do care about which polarity they are wired in. But yeah, that's a good idea. You could buy the flat LEDs and or rectangular LEDs and maybe do that. That's a very good suggestion. I like that. Terp is saying, I love the pack and the trap. Thank you. They look amazing. Nice work. Thank you so much. I super appreciate it. And if you're interested in how I made the trap, there's a whole video on my channel. If you like what you see, hit subscribe, and that will obviously give you, I mean, you can get access to any boat, but it'll easily give you access. You'll find all of the other stuff there if you want to check that out. And actually build other things, not just Ghostbusters stuff. In fact, I should show you this. The film sadly didn't do very well, but I built a Mad Max steering wheel. That's one of my builds on my channel. I actually really enjoyed this. I was talking earlier about using Fuller's Earth to age stuff, and I used that on here as part of the this is real leather, and it was so fun making this. And so the Fuller's Earth is really interesting. It gets into the gaps and kind of makes it look old. And then if you place your hands on it where you would on the steering wheel, you get this kind of shiny look. So it's a lot of fun. But yeah, check the channel out. There's a build on this. I build a Dune Thumper. I built an animatronic dinosaur on the channel as well. So yeah, if you like what you see, just hit the subscribe button, and you'll get access to all those other things. Let's see. Sorry, text has scrolled back. So that was me responding to Turp. Thank you, Lewis. Hello, Lewis. Lewis is asking, I have the disguise one. It's like the stunt trap, and I want the hero one. Gotcha. Justin's saying, can I build a 2016 pack? I think those props are massively underrated. They built some very good props, and the Proton pack's kind of cool. I like it. I haven't got plans to build one right now because I've got a growing list of things, but I wouldn't say no to building it because the aesthetic of those props was really, really good. Felix is saying the main ghost is called Fire, and the Ecto one is now going to be called. Oh, okay. I don't know anything about that, and I'm wondering if maybe you're being humorous there, and if you're not, I apologize for saying that. Enzo, but the batteries die in almost 2 days. It's not enough for me. And Enzo, which one is that? Sorry, I'm just trying to roll back here. Oh, the homemade one with the Christmas lights, right? So the batteries die. Yeah, and it depends on what kind of Christmas lights you've used, right? So if you're using normal Christmas lights, right? Like these, right? I'm assuming you're thinking something like that. So that's a fuse light, but yeah, those kind of regular Christmas lights. Those lights are obviously designed for a higher voltage often than a battery. I mean, they'll light up, but they'll drain the electricity more quickly than using the LEDs that I showed you earlier. And again, depending on where you are in the country, LEDs can honestly be really, really easy to get hold of. And let me show you this, for instance, is an LED that flashes red and blue. And all you need to do is connect it to a battery. It's really, really simple. And so if you're trying to add, if you're not like amazing at electronics or anything like that, but you want to do something, kind of cool, look, here we are. I've literally just connected this as a 9-volt battery, and there you've got a red and blue flashing LED. It's that simple, and then you just want to put a switch in line, and you can buy like a pack of these for under $10. And so, honestly, go and look on Amazon. I actually got a whole set of these when I was in England, so I know that you can get them in Europe. But it's super, it makes wiring stuff super easy. And sometimes some of the things that are online about how to wire your packs or traps or whatever require, like more involvement than perhaps you're ready to do when you're starting out. Like using a control chip can sound so daunting to you, and coding it can sound so daunting. But making a simple circuit with a switch and a couple of those kind of flashing lights can be very easy to do, and a great way to start if you want to move on from Christmas lights. Right, let me just go back here because stuff's disappearing out of the screen. SOS Gamer, have you thought of setting up a Raspberry Pi or something similar to control the lights or have custom sequences? Yeah, I totally have. And I haven't done that here. I was trying to keep this pretty simple because it's the first pack I've ever built. But I have used, I haven't used a Raspberry Pi for that, but I've used, let me see if I can find it. This is one of the control chips I do have. This is actually for servos. You can't see it very well, but it's like an Arduino, but a little bit smaller. But you plug that into the computer there with the USB, and then all these connectors here are for lights or for servos actually. So when I built my animatronic dinosaur, all of the movements I did with that little controller, the eyes and the shake of the whole head and everything. There's so many good control chips out there. So many. I mean, the access to this stuff is so good now that it's great. But yes, I thought of doing that. I just didn't do it in this case because I was trying to keep it super simple. And I'm sure that at some point I'm going to update this. That will happen, and that will be a video. And if you want to see that video in the future, why not hit subscribe now? Subscribe to the channel so you can find and access all the other stuff that we have. Russ, hi Russ. Love hearing a Brit talk so passionately about Ghostbusters and the props. You represent us British people proudly. Keep up the good work. Thank you so much, Ross. And I'm just going to say it's not hard for me to be passionate about it. I love it. It's really great. Let's see. Oh yeah, Leeds is saying only £15 on Amazon at the moment too. And I'm assuming, I don't know if you're referring to the LEDs or what you're referring to, but I'm assuming that's what you're referring to. So yes, it's much easier than you think to get access to these things. And to be honest with you, I mean, you'll see back here, look, these 3 drawers on this thing, these are all LEDs. And all of these LEDs I bought in a pack, I think of 50, when I was in the UK, when I was making a space shop, like a spacecraft set. And I used maybe 20% of those, and I've had them ever since. So if you're going to build a lot of things in the future, or you're like having fun with that kind of stuff, you can spend £15 and have LEDs for like 10 years. I think I bought those 9 years ago. Oh, that's crazy. That's crazy. And they're still good to go. Felix, do you know the movie Zombies on Disney Channel? I do know the movie Zombies. My daughter loves that movie. In fact, when we were driving to Starbucks today to get her a pink drink, she was playing a song from Zombies in the car. So I am aware of that, and I have seen that film. Enzo, well, it's some LEDs, but I think the voltage is not too powerful. Yeah. So the Christmas lights that you've got are LEDs. It may be then that they're, I don't know what rate they're running at, or what batteries you've got. But that's probably the reason why they're running out so fast, is they're not designed. And like this set of LEDs I've got here, which I haven't even dipped into yet, these are all really ultra low voltage. So they're like 1 to 3 volts, 2 to 3 volts. So you're talking about, in order to effectively power those, you're talking about, 2 of these AA batteries to power a set of these in series. And the other thing to note is, and again, I don't want to get too technical on wiring, but if you look online, and again, you may know this already, so apologies if I'm telling you something you already know about, but depending on how you wire them, if you wire them in series, which is like daisy chained, the power is going to drain more quickly and the brightness is going to be less, because you're basically increasing the load across the circuit. But if you wire them in parallel, you'll see the brightness stay higher, and probably the power in the battery will last a lot longer. Look up parallel circuits and oh my gosh, what did I just say? Relay. It's a relay circuit? What is it called? Parallel and, oh my gosh, I'm tired, man. Mo, put the right answer in chat. Mo always helps me when my brain doesn't work anymore. Series, parallel and series. Oh my gosh, there we go. Oh my gosh, there we are. Let's see. Sorry, just rolling back here to check on people's questions. Justin, what's your advice on making a 2009 game pack? Oh, it's a really good question. I smile at that because I love the idea of making one of those. And I've seen a couple of good ones online. I think what's kind of fun is that these ones that you can get now, right, that we've been talking about, have the different settings kind of inspired from the game. So, you've got you can change it to the slime, from the game. You know what, I was pressing that and I was doing the smoke. So you can do the slime. But yeah, those packs from the game have the really cool tank with slime and other stuff on them. I think my understanding is the packs, there's a couple of ways that you could go about it, but you could start with something like this as the base and then kind of scratch build or 3D print. I can't imagine that there aren't 3D print models out there for some of the aspects of that pack. So I'd probably look out there and see if there's anything 3D that you can print, or anything that you can use that you can scratch build, because scratch building is a lot of fun. If you don't want to 3D print, I mean, I showed this earlier, right? The Mad Max steering wheel. This was totally scratch build, right? So nothing here was 3D printed. This was just stuff that I found that worked. And this skull here was a Halloween like a 99-cent Halloween skull that I use. So that would be, you know, advice. Hard to know what to say as advice, but if I was approaching it, I think I'd start researching online. I'd look at some videos of what other people have done when they've made those packs, and then I'd start to think about what could I do based on what I've seen. Because often I'd like try and judge how capable I am based on what I've seen other people do, and then what I need to learn. And then 9 times out of 10, I just say, well, I don't know how to do that, but I'm just going to give it a go. You know that. 9 times out of 10, these videos I make on this channel, it's just me going, never done this before. Let's give it a go, guys, and see if we can make it work. And then you're going to learn from your mistakes and learn from doing it. So I do some research and look for it, Justin. I think it's a fun project. Louis, or Louis, I'm sorry, maybe Louis. Oh, the video game pack, that's a big one. But it's also so badass. Yeah, totally agree with you, Louis. That's great. Leeds is saying $15 for the trap. I've added the lights and the smoke and weathered mine, which makes it great for the belt hanger. Okay, so I did misunderstand you. I was talking about IDs, you were talking about the trap. But 15 pounds, that's really, really good. Active saying, holy hell, it's my dream. You mean the pack? Well, that's it's awesome that you're reacting that way. Gavin's back. Hi, Gavin. Louis is saying, yeah, customized it. Will do the electronics myself, but I want the one with that open pedal. Nice. Yes. And actually, the Spirit Trap I modded. This one, there's 2 here, but this one here, you'll see it's sort of like a total mod. It's got these funky things on it. The other one did, but this one I used a servo to make the doors open. There's a whole video on my channel actually about how I did that. So if you, and again, you don't want to necessarily copy exactly what I did, but the principles might be helpful. You know, I added this is just here temporarily, but I added the cable and everything so that you can plug that in here and, you know, control the trap. You know what was really interesting? When I spoke to Zach from Hasbro, who's the electrical engineer, when he showed me the plug on the 2-in-the-box trap, it's this plug. It's actually, and I confirmed it with him, it's in my video. If you watch the video, you'll see me say, isn't that an aviation connector? And he's like, might be. But the great thing about the aviation connector, I'm probably not going to do it now because I haven't screwed this in properly. I'll do it with this one. So I've got the aviation connector here, look, on the trap. So you can hold the whole trap by the aviation connector because it's going to have enough strength to hold it, which is one of the great things. And it's called an aviation connector because it's what they use on planes to connect their headsets or cables to the control dash. Anyway, sorry, I'm riffing and I'm getting really behind on the questions. Let's see, Active 10, is that how you say your name? Sorry. Akolovin? I'm sorry if I've got that wrong, but hello, welcome. Listening to this like I understand, and that affects me at all right now. That's funny. Enzo's saying, well, it's a good advice for a 16-year-old kid like me. There you go, Enzo. Well, good luck with that. And again, you know, I started doing stuff like this when I was 10. I started, you know, nothing to this standard, but I would build stuff out of cardboard. I would build stuff out of anything I could get my hands on. Back then, I built a Johnny 5 from Short Circuit. I built Daleks. I built Cybermen. Yeah, I was super into that stuff. So, you know, if you're 16 and you're experimenting and trying to figure this stuff out, good for you. That's great. I highly approve. Not that you need my approval in any way whatsoever, but I do. Mo, a relay is something very different. You're right. A relay is when you need a different power switch by something that has a lesser power or a higher power. Thank you, Mo. That's an electromagnetic switch, right? There you go. Gavin's saying, Matt, have you seen a video of Ghostbusters News talking about the Apple Maps? That you could see the Ecto at the ferry bridge. No. No, I've not seen that. I need to check that out. Was that the Ectos there on Ghostbusters Day? Was that what that was? I need to find out more. Let's see. Deborah is saying small solar panel doable. Is a small solar panel doable? I want to make a Snoopy doghouse that's a mailbox that can light up in December. In December? Is that what you're saying? Can light up in December? Oh, that's a really good question, Deborah. Hopefully you're still on and weren't waiting too long. And I just had to say, Snedler, hello, welcome. It's good to see you. Hope you're doing well. I think the last time, maybe you were on the live stream for Ghostbusters Day, but I think the last time I was in the workshop, you had to leave for a fire, I believe, last time. So Deborah, to your question, a small solar panel doable. I want to make a Snoopy doghouse that is a mailbox that can light up in, I think you mean in December. Do you mean that will still work in December? So, there's a couple of things that I would probably do if I wanted to do that. I think the most simple way to approach it would be maybe to buy, you know, the solar garden lights that you get, that you can put in your garden, or your yard, sorry, I should say, if you're from the US. I might start with a circuit like that and use that and like take it apart and use the circuitry. And what you'll typically find when you open up one of those solar lights is that there's the solar panel. It connects to what looks like, it'll literally look like this. It'll look like a AA battery, but it'll be a rechargeable one. And then there'll be one other thing in the circuit, which is, I don't have one here, I'd show it to you otherwise, but it's like a light sensor. And that light sensor, when there's bright light, it shuts off the circuit to the LED that's going to light up the little lamp. And then when that photo sensor is not receiving any light, then it will complete the circuit and the power will then drain from this. And it's a very, very simple circuit. And so I might start, Deborah, by seeing if you can buy, you know, like you can get those packs of those garden lights pretty cheaply. That's how I would start. You may have a different idea, but that's how I'd start. And then I'd probably take that apart and see if I could use that circuitry to do it. Mo is saying, the guy that made the Q pack also has a project called the QTV pack. That's the additions from the video game pack. Thank you, Mo. I knew you would know this. So that's where you need to look. Yeah, like I said, start online. That's a great place to start, and the Q pack is this pack, so it's awesome. Gavin, gotta go. See you later, Gavin. Francisco, hi, Francisco. There's never been a better time for cosplay. That is totally true. Lewis or Louis, again, sorry, I'm getting your name wrong. If I am, I apologize. I did my pack electronics myself at the same age as Enzo. Learn, it's not that difficult. There you go, Louis. Thank you for saying that. And also to the other comment about it, Francisco saying that it's never been a better time for cosplay. All of these things are totally true. There's so much accessibility to information online. The internet, you can learn so much. The YouTube videos, you can learn so much. And access to materials and tools, there's so much access to those things. So yeah, you can figure that stuff out and learn about it. It's kind of awesome. Let's see. You know, building a Q-Pack at 15 years old is also quite an experience. Yes, it is. Yes, it is, Mo. You are dead right. Mauricio, hello, welcome to the chat. Gavin saying, it was the Afterlife Ecto ones, and if you go to Spinner's Restaurant or Apple Pie, it's in Besca, Alberta. Oh, okay, that's cool. You could see them filming the movie. Okay, I gotcha. Mauricio, USA, UK, CAD. Do you mean computer-aided design, USA, UK? I am from the UK, but I live in the USA, so I meet two of those requirements. Deborah, Christmas lights that can be turned on in December. Okay, cool. Yeah, I think I interpreted it right. That's what I would suggest. The only thing I'm going to say, I don't know where in the world you live, but my experience of anything solar powered is that often in the winter, because there's so much less light throughout the day, that it doesn't always charge those little solar panels enough. There's just not enough light. So I have a solar, like a small solar system outside for lights in my yard to power those. And through the summer, it's great. It works well. And in the winter, like before I hit December, I don't get enough power. So just be aware of that. The other option would be to use the same circuit with the light sensor, take the solar panel out of it, and just put a rechargeable battery. And you could just go out and put a rechargeable battery in, you know, and then you've got one charging inside the house, and you can just do that. That might be another option for the winter. Snedler, I was in your live at Ghostbusters Day. You were. That's right. You were. But I do remember last time we were here in the workshop, you had to dash away. Yeah, you said, yeah, not always easy when I suddenly have to run a good moment, ruin a good moment. Yeah. Gavin now has to go. See you, Gavin. Thank you for being here. I appreciate it. Zulima, isn't that from Ghostbusters? Yes, it's a Proton pack. That's what we're chatting about. We're chatting about, actually, we're having a great conversation. We're talking about the Proton pack here that I built, but we're always talk more broadly about stuff. It's great. We're talking about cosplay and electronics and lighting. I love it. I could riff about this stuff all day. Clay, hi Clay. YouTube didn't tell me you were live. People keep saying that. That's really annoying, isn't it? I don't know what we can do about that. I don't know what I can do. I probably can't do anything about it. I found lately YouTube is being a little bit selective. So I have a channel that I watch all the time, and I just haven't watched it for 3 weeks, right? Because I've been super busy. And on my For You page, or my home page now, that channel doesn't even appear. And it's something that I watch videos from probably every week, apart from the last 3 weeks. So I think YouTube's so obsessed with, they're probably gonna like shut this live stream down now, but they're so obsessed with views and pulling you in the direction they think they're gonna get content, that sometimes I don't know. Yeah, let's not get into that. Let's see. Hayden. Hi, Hayden. Anyone know how to make a mechanical cyclotron like the Adam Savage Afterlife prop video? Well, you know what, Hayden, you're on the right live stream, because Mo, who's on the live stream, is making a mechanical cyclotron, and I'm sure could give you some advice about doing that. I haven't made one, but Mo's made one. I know the principle of doing it, and actually in the video, the Adam Savage video, they don't explain exactly how it works, but Adam uses a couple of keywords that you can search up online about the motor that they've used, and how that turns the central piece, which you need a pivot that can supply power to the light as it spins, which is the important part of doing that. And again, Mo, you can probably talk about this with actual experience compared to me, who hasn't done it but understands the principle of it. But yeah, there's a motor, I think from what I saw in that picture, there's a motor with a pulley or like a belt that's spinning the cyclotron around, and then power is supplied to that joint, so it enables you to have electricity still supplying the light bulb or the LED. Hayden's asking, do I plan on making an RTV? A lot of people have asked me that, and I do plan on making one. Yes, I do want to make one. If I make one, I'm going to get a lot of advice from Ben Eady, who, if you haven't seen it, if you're new to the channel, there's a great conversation that I had with Ben Eady about the RTV and his experience of having to drive it on set and having accidentally driven it under the wheel of a car. So you can check that out, and you can check that out by if you subscribe to the channel, you'll find all those videos on my channel. So hit the subscribe button, you'll find that there. Random, I don't have, and welcome by the way, I don't have a Ghostbusters Playmobil. I do not. Danny's asking, have I seen a prop version of the Ghostbusters telephone from '84? I have not seen a good prop version of that. I've seen the button on the desk. I've seen a few people with that. And my buddy that lives in the same town as me has got a copy of the button, a replica of the button. But I don't know if I've seen a good replica of the phone. The best one I saw was actually a few years back at Halloween Horror Nights in Orlando. They had the whole Janine's desk, and they did have a copy of the phone there on the desk. I don't know how accurate to screen it was, because it was a Halloween walkthrough, so that was kind of the last of my thoughts, was how accurate the props were. I was worried about getting jump scared. John Payne is asking, how much does it cost to make this Ghostbusters pack? That's a really good question. I've been asked that a few times before. Now I've finished, I'll probably, when I put the whole video up, I've been recording a video through the process. I've been doing these live streams, but also I've been documenting the process. I will put the full amount that it cost me on here. I think I made a couple of wrong turns in the process, so I think the amount that it cost me is probably going to be more than it needs to cost. But obviously, so if you've already got a 3D printer, that's a great start. You can use a 3D printer to print it. So it's the cost of the filament, the PLA. Then you've got to think about the cost of things like the Alice frame, which is here, and the straps. That's like $70. And then getting stickers, again, depending on how high quality you want to get them, that's going to cost you 20, 40, even more possibly. And then you're going to buy the ribbon cable and all these pieces. So it adds up quickly, is what I'm going to say, when you're trying to build it. I think that it's probably less. It can cost you less than buying the Hasbro pack, the HasLab pack, or it could cost you more, a lot more, depending on what electronics you put in it, and what parts you buy for it, and the quality of it. Everything I 3D printed, but in future I want to buy my own clip art, a real clip art valve. I'd probably want to buy a proper Raytheon crank handle, all sorts of things that I might update as you know, this pack's going to be around for a while. So yeah, sorry, that's not a very clear answer, but it can be more or less than a HasLab depending on how much effort you put into it and how much time it takes. So Mo, always coming through for me. Oh, Snedler, let me ask this first. Lewis is answering the question. Very, very expensive, John. Yeah, it can be expensive. It can be expensive. Thank you for that, Louis. Snedler saying, how long has the stream been going for? It's been going for 122 minutes. I can't believe it. I probably need to stop at some point. Mo, I just want to read your answer out because I appreciate you answering it. Yes, working on a mechanical cyclotron, thank you for asking. I would recommend using a wire strip ring with an LED arm mounted to it and using the motor that's belt driving the slip ring. Yeah. So that's broadly what I was explaining, but you're using the proper terms there, Mo, for that central pivot point supplying the power to the LED, and that slip ring means that you've got both contacts connected as the arm spins around, and then the motor is offset from the center driving the belt. The Green Kermit. Oh, you're finished? Yeah, it's done. It's done, and we've been talking about it and chatting about it. Clay, I'm going to use your idea for the servo mod to the Spirit Trap. Rig it up for a push button that would put in the pedal. Great, yeah, that's a great idea. That'd be fun. Oh, hi, Cameron's phone is back and up and working. Welcome back, Cameron. Deborah Sam, any recommendations on what voltage LEDs that are best for longevity on a battery pack and useful for a variety of projects? Yeah, I mean, it's a combination of things. It's not just the voltage, but it'll be the ampage that those things draw. But LEDs draw very little power for the voltage that they run. So, I mean, yeah, I mean, I think the ones I was just showing earlier, wherever I put them, are a great kind of set. I actually got these from Micro Center, but these run at kind of 2 to 3 volts. So these will not draw very much power or kill batteries very quickly. And 2 to 3 volts means that you can power them with, you can just get a regular good old battery holder like this. This is too many actually. You want a 2-fer rather than a 3-fer because this is going to add up. But 2 of those, you know, so imagine that you're going to get a battery pack that looks like this. Yeah, you're going to have 2 AA batteries that are going to give you 3 volts, and that's going to power a set of those as long as they're in series really well. Hopefully that's helpful. Let's see. Okay, Hayden. Thanks, Mo. Yeah, thank you, Mo. I really appreciate your answer, Mo. Snedder saying, by the way, Matt, remember you were worried about your pack in the heat. How did it go? That's a great question. So it was a hot day. It was a very hot day. I did get sunburned. The pack sat on the front seat of the Ecto in the full sun a lot of the day, and it was totally fine. It was totally fine. It didn't. I wasn't actually worried about it. I went and checked it a few times, and it was totally fine. I think the New Jersey or New York heat was okay. I think if it sat for a long time in direct sunlight in a car in Arizona, I don't think it would melt into a puddle, because it would have to be 200 Fahrenheit or 180 to be extrudable. But I think that it could get soft. So, but it was totally fine. So thank you for asking. Yeah, it was good. John, have you ever tried to build out of cardboard? Yeah, I built lots of stuff out of cardboard. I think it's a great material. Cardboard and foam board, actually. I don't know, maybe you said where you're based, John. Sorry if I forgot that. But foam board you can get quite cheaply here in the United States from somewhere like Dollar Tree. So yeah, I built stuff out of for work. I build stuff out of foam board because I sometimes have to make quick models. In fact, this is going to look very messy, but I built. Look, this is my temporary spray booth that I built out of foam board. Not very well, by the way, but yeah, it's a great building material, and it's so flexible, and I think it's a great material to build in. So yes, I have. Louis is saying, Clay Briggs, can you think your tour idea for the trap is possible in France? Toy idea, yeah. Buy the trap and servo for not too much. I can't answer the question about France. Obviously, maybe you can online, but I think if you can get a trap like or similar to this with opening doors. So this is the one I modded, and it has a servo in it. And then this is the original one here. So this is the trap I use. This is a spirit trap. But yeah, if you haven't done so yet, subscribe. And there's a video called Toy to Trap on my channel. And it doesn't really matter what trap you've got. It will at least show you the principles that I followed to try and put a servo into my trap. And I just used, and again, these servos are from Amazon. Oops. I used, come on, stay. I used one of these. This is the servo I used to control the trap, and it was set in that configuration with an arm that opened and closed the doors, basically. So that's what I did. Let's see. Caleb, hey, welcome back. Cameron, could I build a Dorothy sensor from Twister on a prop one from my sketches? I'll send you a picture of what it looks like. Oh, well, send me a picture and see if I can. You know, it's really interesting that you asked me to build something, Cameron. This week, so many people have reached out to me and said, oh, I've seen this that you built. Can you make me one? Or I've seen that you can build. Can you make me one? And that's so flattering when people do that. And then, so I feel really flattered. And then I think, how on earth am I going to find the time to build something for somebody else? I really wish that I didn't have a full-time job and I could pivot into building stuff all the time and making stuff for people. That would be so much fun if I could do that. But there you go. That's life, isn't it? That's life. We all have to work and earn money, and you know, I actually enjoy my job, but you know, I'd still like to make things all day. Well, listen, I'm probably going to call it quits in a second, so if you've got any more questions, now's the time to ask them. And what I am going to do is call to action. If you're new here and you've been enjoying the stream, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, and you know, you'll get access to lots more content like this, of us chatting and talking about it. This has been a really fun conversation today. I've really enjoyed the insights from people, the questions for people. It's been really fun. Deborah's saying, make a proton pack for an 8-year-old about 7 years ago using foam panel insulation. Nice. Bucket bottom for the cyclotron with a 9-volt battery powering some flashing on and off red lights from auto parts store. Love it. That's great. There's on the video that I'm trying to finish editing about Ghostbusters Day, I saw a great pack that somebody had made for a kid. I can't wait for you to see it. It was awesome. But that's cool that you did that. Louis saying, thanks for all your tips. Sorry for the tour. It's my French Corrector, sorry. Oh no, you're good. You're good. Don't worry. And thank you for being here. Unboxing saying hi. Unboxing, I do remember you. Yes. How are you? Snedler's wishing me a great day. Thank you, Snedler. I'm sorry, Unboxing. We're actually going. We're finishing. But guess what? You can watch the stream from the beginning. It was 130 minutes long and lots of conversation about the Proton Pack. So thank you for being here, people. Really appreciate it. Have an absolutely awesome rest of your day, whatever day it is where you are, depending on which side of the world you're on. And check out the channel, subscribe, and you'll find access to all that other cool stuff that we do. And thank you for joining me. Thank you, Clay. Thank you, everyone. It's been so much fun. I really enjoyed this chat today. Thank you so much for joining. I really, really appreciate it. I'll see you soon for the next live stream. And have a wonderful, wonderful week.